Team Poland, Matt Morris here, and recording a quick video. It's actually kind of late after midnight on Saturday. I know you guys had your Saturday training this morning, and we'd scheduled me for 9, but there was a little confusion on the time zone challenge. So at 10, I had to run out the door. So could not hop on Skype with you guys, but I did commit to recording a training video for you, and so wanted to spend a little time late night with Matt Morris here, and just give you some things from my mind and from my heart. I actually spent this evening with Wayne Nugent, the founder of our company, and anytime I get to spend time with him, not only does it just strengthen the belief in our company and where we're headed, but it also always gives me insight into how to become the person that I ultimately want to become, because Wayne has been my mentor now for about 15 years, ever since I started having success in network marketing. It started with Wayne being my sponsor, being my mentor, and I've learned from him and I've studied him more than probably anyone in the world has. And what was interesting, Wayne is always in training mode, and we're upstairs in his media room, and he's just talking about life in general. And of course, what I have done is, I pulled up my voice memo and I'm recording Wayne as he's saying a lot of these, profound things. And, I'm going to give you one of the biggest things that I got from him. And he touched on this a little bit tonight, but it was basically deciding who you're going to be. And if you want to be great in life, you have to decide. You have to make a conscious decision to be great. And if I were to say, who are you? Are you average or are you great? Most people, their gut instinct, the answer that would come off the, top of their head if they're honest is I'm average. And greatness starts from within. It starts from right here, and you've got to lock it into your mind that you're going to be great. And it's the question is, when I ask you a question, you spit out the answer. What's the first thing that comes to mind is, are you an employee or an employer? And most people say, well, employee, because that's what you are in your job. But who do you ultimately want to be? Ultimately, you want to be the employer. You want to have assistants and people who are booking your flights and things like that for you. So be the employer. Are you rich or poor? You want to be rich, and everything about yourself is a mind game. It's all an inner game, and it starts, the foundation for everything in your life starts with who you have decided that you are. Now, if you say you're a leader, guess what? You're a leader. And until you say I'm a leader, you're always a follower. You're never going to become a leader until you say I'm a leader, until you put that line in the sand and you say, you know what, that's it, I am a leader. You've got to make that statement. And if you don't ever make that statement, the results never manifest themselves. And I want to give you a handful of things here that were some of the biggest breakthroughs in my career in network marketing. And number one was I had worked hard in the past. I had worked hard, never really all in, but I had worked hard and I had never had results for about 5 years in network marketing. And finally, when I started hanging out with Wayne, and he said, you are who you say you are. So you are a leader when you say you're a leader. I decided that I was going to not only work harder than I had ever worked before, I was going to burn the candle at both ends, and I was just going to lay it all out on the line, and I was going to work like my life depended on it. And I think you should work like your life depends on it, because it does. And, not to say that money is everything. It's not everything, but it definitely gives you a lot of options. And unfortunately, we've been programmed in many cases to believe that money, or somehow rich people, are not as good as other people. Or, you heard money is the root of all evil. No one ever said money is the root of all evil. If you look back to biblical times, they said the love of money is the root of all evil. So I'm not saying it makes you better or it makes you worse. You can't say rich people are any better than poor people, but at the same time, you can't say poor people are any better than rich people. You know, you are who you are, and money is going to magnify who you are. So if you're a happy person now and you have a lot of money, you're going to be even more happy. If you're a miserable person right now and you get a bunch of money, you're going to probably be even more miserable. So it's a magnifier. So number one, make sure you're happy right now, and realize that you know, there's nothing non-noble about having a lot of money, just like there's nothing noble about poverty. There's no nobility in poverty. And so I think our, you know, the gift that we've been given is potential. I think God gives us the gift of potential, unlimited potential. And I think our gift to God is using that potential. And unfortunately, most people go through their entire life never living up to the potential that is within them. And you've got to ask yourself, are you the type of person who is comfortable living your entire life never living up to your God-given potential? Now, personally, that's just not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable for me not to live up to who I can ultimately become. And I'm always in a growing phase. Someone, in fact, I was in South Africa, I did the training, and someone was raving about the training. Oh my gosh, you're so great, you're so great. And you know, my answer was thank you. You know, I'm grateful for that, and I want to be humble about it. But you know, in another few years, I'll be twice as good of a trainer as I am now. Why? Because I'm always growing. And I believe if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotten. See, in life, you don't stay at the same level. You're either going up or you're going down. And so you've got to have Kaizen. Needs to be part of your core philosophy. And Kaizen is the Japanese art of continuous and never-ending improvement. So if you've ever heard Kanai, C-A-N-I, continuous and never-ending improvement, always growing, always getting better. See, here's how success in network marketing works. It's kind of like if you plant a tree. You plant a tree and you water it. You water that seed that's in the ground, and you water it and you water it and you water it, and 3 days go by and you don't see anything. Nothing hasn't even come up to the surface yet. You continue watering and you continue watering and you continue watering, and it may be a couple, 3 weeks later, there's a little sprout, you know, and you're watering it and you're watering it, and it's just barely growing, barely growing, barely growing, and you get frustrated. But what happens is, what this business is all about is consistent effort over time. If you just keep watering and just keep watering and just keep watering, that little sprout turns into a tree, turns into a giant tree. And the only thing that I've done over the last 20 years is I've continued to water myself. And my goal is ultimately to become the biggest tree in network marketing, not just the biggest tree in World Ventures. You know, I mean, I've got 80+% of the company is in my organization. And so, you know, that's great. But if I look at myself and say, you know what, you're so great, Matt, then guess what happens? I stop growing. And again, if you stop growing, you start dying. And, you know, I want to be the biggest tree in network marketing. I want to have the biggest organization the network marketing industry has ever seen. Millions upon millions of people, thousands of people that have become millionaires. And so I've still got a lot of growing to do, and I'm excited about it because I love the journey. And you know, you can see behind me my bookshelves rather, and you know, it's just loaded with book after book, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. There's two bookshelves on the other side of the room here. I've got some boxes of books that I can't even get them all on the shelf. I'm gonna have to upgrade my house and get a bigger library. And the reason why I have so many books is, number one, I want to live up to my potential, but number two, I understand the formula for success. And the formula for success is actually very simple. Most people overcomplicate success. They overcomplicate what it takes to be very, very wealthy. And fortunately for me, I'm a simple guy. You only have to know three things. Three things. There's only three factors. So your success is equal to your financial vehicle, multiplied by your effort, multiplied by your skill. So three things: financial, your effort, and your skill. So what most people do is they have their career, they have their job, and in their job, they're really good at their job and they work really hard at their job. And so they've got 2 out of 3, but they're missing the most important element, which is the financial vehicle. See, it doesn't matter how hard you work, it doesn't matter how good you get if you're in the wrong vehicle. You're never going to get to the level of wealth that you ultimately want to achieve, that you ultimately can achieve if you have the wrong vehicle. See, if I were to take you and put you in a Ferrari, let's say I put you in a Ferrari and I take the greatest race car driver in the history of the world and I put them in a 1976 Fiat with flat tires. Who's going to win the race? Are you going to win, or is the greatest race car driver in the world going to win? You're going to win. Not because you're a better driver, but because you have a better vehicle. And see, that's what I want you to have certainty on, is World Ventures is the greatest financial vehicle that I've ever seen, that I believe there is in the world, because there's no other opportunity that allows you to make the kind of money that we make and have the kind of time freedom that we have, that we enjoy, and to be able to just live your life helping other people, having that significance, have that fulfillment. Because I believe success and really fulfillment in life, it doesn't come from what you get, it comes from what you give. And so we have the best of all worlds. We're not working for a nonprofit where, we work, we don't make any money, and we help other people. No, we get to help other people and get rich. It's the best of both worlds. And again, money's not everything. You're still going to have problems when you have money, but at least you can arrive at your problems in style. And if I look at my life over the last 15 years, since I've had a lot of money, I've been able to travel to almost 70 countries. I've been able to cruise down the Nile River, cruises to Bora Bora and Tahiti, renting out 18,000 square foot villas, 4 stories on the beach, staff of 8 people waiting on us hand and foot, infinity pools. Staying at mansions on the top of the mountain in the French Riviera, renting out yachts, and just all of these peak amazing experiences, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Life has been one heck of an adventure, and it's made me amazingly happy. I feel like my life is pretty dang full. So if God were to take me tomorrow, then I'd feel like I lived a pretty full, rich life. And you know what? If it weren't for a lot of money, I wouldn't have lived this rich, full life. And so, if it's possible, if success is possible, that makes it a choice. So success is a choice for you. So you either choose to win or you choose to lose. It is a choice. And if it's possible to win, why would you choose to lose? So you got to make the conscious decision. You got to say, I decide to win. I decide to win. It's going to happen for me. And when you look at the root word of decide, you get side. It is genocide, pesticide, suicide. It means to kill off. So when you're going to have huge success, it happens when you decide to kill off any other chance. Anything other than you succeeding at the highest levels, that's when success happens for you. See, when you decide, I am going to be an IMD, there's no other possibility in my mind than going IMD. That's when you go IMD. See, and if we look at the formula for success, so we got the financial vehicle, the next one is effort. And obviously you're going to have to work hard. And I'll tell you, when it comes to watering that tree, there is a way to put some Miracle-Gro to speed up the process a little bit. And that is working your butt off, working really, really hard for a season, just for a season of your life. Take about a 90-day window and work from 8 to faint. That means you're up 7, 8 in the morning, you're up early, and you're working as long as you can possibly work. It means you're going to lose some sleep. And this is what took me from $30,000 in debt, living at home with my mom, working as a waiter, to becoming a millionaire, was being able to work that hard for a season of my life. Not forever, but for a season. And if you're listening to my words right now and you're saying, well, it's unrealistic for me to become a millionaire, then you are lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, because if it's possible for someone else to become a millionaire in World Ventures, it's possible for you to become a millionaire in World Ventures. See, there are over 10 million millionaires in the world. So if there's 10 million millionaires in the world, there's nothing that's so special about you that says you can't become a millionaire as well. I refuse to believe it. It is a lie. And I'll tell you how bad of a lie it is. It's a lie that you use to justify your own failure. It's a lie you tell yourself and you tell other people maybe to justify your own failure. So sit with that and live with that. I want you to, hopefully it pisses some people off, because the reality of the situation is it's possible. You can't argue with me. It is possible. And if you're saying it's not possible for me, the reason why it's not possible for you is because you don't have the intestinal fortitude, call it the guts, call it the balls, to work as hard as you have to work in order to go out and become a millionaire. That's the only thing that's unrealistic, is you're not willing to work as hard as it takes. And you're not willing to do the final, the third criteria, and that's to work on your skill. It's to get really good. And if you look at my library here, I'm going to give you a secret on having mastery, becoming an expert. If you want to be an expert in something, and see, there's a lot of different areas that I was far from an expert in. In fact, when I got into network marketing and I made a dream list of all the things that I wanted in my life, number one is I just wanted to master communication with other people. Because when I met with people, I would always second guess myself. I would always judge myself. I would always worry that I was saying the wrong thing, that they were thinking bad things about me. And I was just a bad communicator. I felt very awkward. And so someone told me, if you want to be an expert in one particular area, see, an expert, what he claimed, this gentleman claimed was an expert, multimillionaire. He said an expert is someone that knows 99% more than everyone else in the world about one particular subject. So you got to be in the top 1% in the world in your field as far as, knowledge. And he said it's actually a lot more simple than you think. If you go read 5 books on one subject, that's more than almost everyone else in your field is willing to do. And that'll put you in the top 1% knowledge level. And I thought, wow, so in network marketing, most people are never going to read 5 books on communication skills. Now, think about this for yourself. Have you read 5 books specific to being a great communicator? And if the answer is no, you're really not serious about having mastery in the art of communication. So what would you do? Go read 5 books, obviously. And so if you look at my shelf, I've got, up here on the side, I've got, several books that are all about communication. How to win friends and influence people, skill with people, how to have confidence and power in dealing with people, a bunch of different books, body language skills, things like that, neuro-linguistic programming type skills, And so I read a bunch of books, 15, 20 books on the art of communicating with other people. And guess what started to happen? Because I applied what I learned, I didn't just read the books, I read the books, and then I went out into the real world, into the trenches, and I applied what I learned. Over time, I got mastery. I got really good. So that's how you become an expert. See, I wanted to be an expert in sales. And so what did I do? I went and read a bunch of books on sales. And if you look at my library here, I've got, a section on sales. I wanted to become great at persuasion, being able to, speak from the front of the room and be able to say the things that would cause people to want to take action. And so I read books like Triggers from Joe Sugarman, All Influence by Robert Cialdini. And I read a bunch of different books on influence and persuasion. And guess what? Now I'm in the top 1% of everyone else in network marketing. Almost no one is willing to go work hard enough on their mind in order to have mastery and to be an expert. And I'm saying it's not that hard if you're just willing to go work, if you're willing to go read the books. So obviously, I wanted to be the best in the world in network marketing. And if I want to be the best in the world at network marketing, I got to work harder, as hard or harder than anyone else. But also, I've got to work on my skill. I got to get good, better than everyone else. And so, how did I do that? Well, one way was I went and read about 60 different books on network marketing. And so, you look at, this shelf right here, every book on this shelf is a specific network marketing book. And you're like, well, what book should I read on network marketing? I read them all. Anyone I could find, I went and read. I've got some, I couldn't even fit them all on one shelf. I read books about Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel from Amway. I read books about Mary Kay. I read just on and on. Dexter Yeager from Amway. I read anything I could get my hands on. Just read it all. It's over 60 books. You know what's interesting is I don't know that I've met anyone who's read that many books on network marketing. So guess what it does? It gives me mastery. It makes me an expert. And so I've done that now in several different areas. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. So when people say, man, how'd you get so good? Or what's almost an insult is when people say you're a natural. That's bullshit. I'm no natural. I worked harder than everyone else. That's how I got better than most people, was I was willing to work harder than everyone else. And if you're willing to work harder than everyone else, you're going to be better than everyone else. You're going to be better than me. And one of the things that I believe is very true is, it's good to honor your leader. Learn from him, observe him, study him, but do not worship him. Believe you can surpass, believe you can go beyond. See, those who harbor second best thinking are second best doers. And that's from The Magic of Thinking Big, another, personal development book. And something I'd encourage you to find that book, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Memorize that quote, find it in the book, and, memorize it, because never look at someone else and think they're better than you. They have just worked harder and they've read more books, they've worked on their skill more. The only difference between you and me is the number of books that I've read and the amount of hours that I've put in. If you read the books I've read and listen to the programs that I've listened to, and if you do the work that I've done, there's no reason why you can't have the exact same results or even better than what I've had. See, the thing that's probably true about you and me is you're probably a lot smarter than me. You probably made better grades in school. You were probably more popular. You probably had, just more going on for you. I was not good in school. I failed out of college before I dropped out before I failed out. I was not the best student in the world. Never had more than a couple friends growing up. Wasn't Mr. Popular. I was very shy. I was an awkward communicator. I hated getting in front of a room and talking to people. I was deathly afraid of it. But what I was willing to do is to go work on my skill, work hard, in the right financial vehicle. And that's when things started coming together. Now, the other thing about network marketing, about World Ventures, if you want to have huge success, this is what is going to be true for you. Your success is going to rise to success or plummet to failure based on your leadership ability. See, there's the law of the lid that's always in effect. This is from John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And yes, when I decided I wanted to be a master in leadership, I wanted to be an expert in leadership, I went and read a bunch of books on leadership. Now, 5 would be the minimum. I'm telling you, go read 10, go read 20. What's the one book? Go read them all. Get online. You can go to mattmorris.com and type in top leadership books, and I've got a list there for you. Type in top personal development books, I got a list. Top communication skill books, I got a list. It's all on my website. And so your success is going to rise based on your leadership. The law of the lid is your income is never going to grow beyond your level of leadership. You're always going to hit upon that lid. So you want to grow yourself. And this is what was true for me. Before I decided to step up my game from a leadership standpoint, I was a master sorter. I was willing to work hard, and I'd show a presentation, are you in or out? And I just sorted. But I was never the kind of person who was willing to step up and act like a leader. And guess what? I had a really lousy enrollment ratio. Not a whole lot of people were attracted to me. I didn't recruit leaders. See, there's two types of math. There's addition and multiplication. Follower math is addition because you recruit other followers. Leadership math is multiplication, because when you recruit a leader, their team can multiply because they have the leadership ability. And the way to recruit a leader is you become a leader first. See, a law of leadership says that people want to follow a leader that they perceive are at a higher level of leadership than themselves. So think about this. If you were, let's say, an 8 on the leadership scale, would you ever follow a 5? The answer is no. You would only follow a 9 or a 10 because you don't want to go backwards in life. You want to go forwards in life. That's even more true the higher you get on the leadership scale. So how have I been able to recruit, 9s and 10s? How have I been able to recruit amazing leaders in my organization? And it's just because I decided to become an amazing leader, to do the things that leaders do. And one of those things is you've got to assume the leadership role. You got to start acting like a leader. If you want to go IMD, best way to go IMD is do what an IMD would do. Speak like an IMD, think like an IMD. And that allows you to become an IMD before you actually ever have the rank, before you achieve that level. You got to become the IMD before you'll ever have the results. And so this is what I started to do, and this is magical. If you start doing this and you do it with posture, I'm excited to see the results that are going to happen. Is when I would sit down with people and I'd go through the presentation, instead of just having the presentation be the deal and the company was the deal, realize this: people follow you as much or more than they follow the company. Okay, I know you're thinking it's the company, it's the company, it's the company. Yes, we got an amazing company, amazing compensation, amazing products, amazing training. We got amazing everything. But if you want to grow fast, realize that people are buying you. So what I started doing, and this is what made all the difference, is once I'd go through a presentation with someone, I'd say this. If I'm talking to John, I'd say, John, listen, this is how this works. When you get started with me, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I'm your wingman. I work for you. You bring people, you invite people to meet with me, and I'm going to help present for you, enroll for you, get them trained. I'm going to walk you through every step of the way. There will be no questions. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Now, you put 10 people in front of me on a bad day, I'm going to close 5 or 6. So literally, all you have to do is introduce people to me. And as sharp, as talented, as charismatic as you are, if you'll be coachable and teachable and let me be your wingman, I will not let you fail. We're going to succeed big time with this. Are you ready to get started? And I put out my hand to shake their hand. And you know what? That was me acting like a leader. That was me saying, you know what? I'm the man. I'm the leader you've always wanted. In fact, that's what I told myself over and over and over. When I went into a presentation, I would say, I am the leader that every other leader is looking for. I'm the leader that every other leader is looking for. And because I showed up with that kind of posture, I showed up looking like a leader, I started recruiting leaders. Whereas before, they'd look at me and go, this kid, whatever, they wouldn't want to work with me. But when I'm 24 years old and 25 years old and I'm talking to someone who's 40, 50 years old, and I'm saying, if you'll be coachable and teachable and let me be your wingman, I will not let you fail. You can do this. As sharp and charismatic as you are, I will not let you fail. Let's go to work. Are you ready? And that 45-year-old is going, wow, this kid is good. I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm in. That's attractive to people. They're attracted to strength. So you've got to be strong. You got to show up like a leader if you want to have massive, massive results. And when I started doing that, it felt amazingly awkward. It felt weird. It was very strange for me. But when I started doing it, all of a sudden I noticed it started working. I noticed, like, wow, when I start saying, you put 5, 6 people in front of me, or you put 10 people in front of me on a bad day, I'm going to close 5 or 6. I started enrolling 5 or 6 out of 10 because I was speaking my closing ratio into existence. And that leads me into the last thing. This is what a great masterful leader does, is they paint a vision. And see, what I was doing to my prospects, and I still do this to this day, I'm painting a vision for what it's going to be like when they work with me. I'm painting that vision. I'm letting them know, listen, I'm going to be here for you. You'll give up on you before I'll give up on you. You give me 100%, I'll give you 100%. In fact, in most cases, I'll outwork you for your own success. Remember these things, write these things down, okay? Start using them. When I started using those, it started working. So I was painting a vision of what it was going to be like when they started working with me. Now, if you're in Poland, and I'm addressing, this is specifically a video I'm recording to the Polish team, and if this ever gets out to any other team, it applies to you as well. But what is going to make things work in a big way is you painting the vision for what things are going to be like in your country. If I'm you, I'm going to have a level of leadership, and I'm going to do my best to be a 10 out of 10 on the leadership scale. And remember, if you go back to what I said, one of the laws of leadership is people want a leader that they perceive are at a higher level leadership than themselves. So the key word there is perceive. There's no blood test. There's no exam you're going to do that says you're a 7 on a leadership scale. It's all how you show up. It's in your body language. It's in your words. It's in your ability to have certainty when you speak. It's the ability to show up and appear, perceive that you're very confident, that you're the kind of person that can lead them to success. So what you do is you start speaking the future into existence. And I've done this in market after market after market after market. Just got explosive growth in Kenya right now. And the last time I was there, I was painting the vision for what's going to happen there. And what I'm saying is in the next 12 to 24 months, there will be tens of thousands of members in Kenya. Next 12 to 24 months, tens of thousands of members are joining this company. Every person you know, your friend, your family member, your coworkers, they're all going to see this. This will be a household name in Kenya. So come join it. Come join the ride. It is happening. So what am I doing? I'm painting a vision for what's happening over the next 12 to 24 months. If I were in Poland, what I would be doing at every single meeting, I would position myself as the authority, myself as the leader, and I would be saying that in the next 12 to 24 months, we are going to put in thousands upon thousands upon thousands of members. We're going to have international marketing directors. We're going to have people all over the country that have achieved financial freedom. That is exactly what's happening. And those of you who get started right now, guess what? You reap the biggest rewards because you know about this before anyone else in Poland knows about it. Okay, I would be saying that over and over and over. I would be painting the vision continually about what is going to happen. Speak that into existence, and that is exactly what will happen if you put in the work. If you work on yourself, if you work on your skill, if you put in the effort, you're already in the right financial vehicle. All you have to do is go out and take action. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. Some of the nuggets in this video, you may want to watch this 2-3 times. You may want to write down some of those, statements that I said. Write those down. Start using them. All I have done in my career is model other people. I modeled Wayne Nugent. I recorded him tonight. I'm going to record that, and I'm going to take some nuggets out of what I got. Because what he told me when I first started working with him, he said, I want you to learn everything I got, and I want you to learn from other people, and I want you to take it all in so that one day you can be better than all of us. So my wish for you is that you decide to step up, learn from me, learn from all the other leaders, and be better than all of us. Not one person listening to me right now, not one person watching me right now that can't do that. If you're willing to just go work on your skill and go take action. So listen, we have got something big in World Ventures. We grew right around $150 million last year. That's about $100 million the year before we grew, and about $50 million the year before that. And so we are on a massive, massive growth curve. And the things that are happening in our company right now, I'm telling you, I am more excited than I've ever been. I am about 800 and some odd, about 790 sales away from triple IMD, and I'm going to go quadruple IMD because I love this business, because I'm passionate about it, and I know that I know that I know that we will put in millions and millions and millions of members all over the world, and I want to be part of it. I don't want to look back 10 years from now and look back and say, man, I wished I would have went to work. Because there's going to be two types of people 5, 10 years from now. Those that said, gosh, I'm glad I did. And those who say, darned, I wish I would have. So make sure you're the one that said, gosh, I'm glad I did. And those of you who say that, who put in the work, then we're going to have a heck of an adventure on IMD trips around the world. Look forward to training with a lot of you on stage and, just forming some amazing friendships. So thanks for tuning in. Let's go make life an adventure.